Back to Monstervision host Joe Bob Briggs and Sleepstalker on TNT.
Okay, so the creepy black priest shows up and tells the Sandman he's got to go back and kill the guy he forgot to kill 17 years ago, and he's got 3 days to do it, and he can now do cool stuff with sand and make his hand bleed and gross out the guards. Does that about sum it up? See, I wonder how many meetings in Hollywood start out with, we've got the next Freddy Krueger here. Wait till you read this, you know. He's a serial killer who preys on children, and you can't kill him, and if you go to sleep, he gets you, and he has really bad skin, you know? I mean, what were they thinking when they made this? Okay, roll it. I mean, this was 10, 12 years after Nightmare on Elm Street that they made this. They should hire me to go to those meetings, you know? Because I'll say, sorry, that story was done in 1957 by Roger Corman. And, of course, a lot of them would say, you know, if you told them that, they'd say, it was? Oh, right, must be a good story. I'll take it, because plagiarism is not really a crime in Hollywood. It's about as serious as, double parking in a Mexican border town during a riot.
Back to Monstervision host Joe Bob Briggs and Sleepstalker on TNT.
See, that's not scary. The Sandman stands on a hill. You see all these artsy-fartsy images of a skeleton sand person. He's scarred up, strange looking, and then he explodes into sand. That's like Jean-Luc Godard filmed it or something. You know, weird, dreamy art film stuff. Not good for a horror film. You know what I do love, though? I love it when they play Mumbledy-Peg in the movies, because you can't fake that. I admire any filmmaker who's willing to risk the actual loss of fingers to get that movie made. Now that is an artist. Okay, back to the movie. Do you like the way I said that? Yeah. Jean-Luc Godard? Jean-Luc Godard? See, I keep up with those film festivals. Jean-Luc Godard. He made a lot of famous films like Breathless and Contempt and second sequel to Porky's, and famous guy in France.
Back to Monstervision host Joe Bob Briggs and Sleepstalker on TNT.
He's dead, and he has sand in his eyes. Ooh. Here's what I don't understand, though. If the Sandman is one of those guys who jumps into your dreams like Freddy Krueger, then why would he have to go to Griffin's beer-drinking, mumbledy-peg-playing friend and kill him so he can find out where Griffin is? Why wouldn't he just wait till Griffin fell asleep? So apparently the Sandman can do 3 things. He can change into sand whenever he feels like it, and he inhabits your dreams, and he just uses his bare hands and chokes people. See, they need to get these rules straight, you know? I hate it when you don't know the rules for the monster. He's going around like Sam Spade saying, where can I find Griffin? You know? But he's like supernatural evil. You don't catch Jason or Michael Myers asking directions, you know? Am I being too picky? All right, I'll get off it. Back to the flick. I know I'm going to get letters. You know, somebody's going to say they know how this works. They're going to say, but Joe Bob, you don't understand. He's sand, but he's human. He's half sand, half human. Well, I get that part. I just don't think sand is that scary. Call me crazy. Call me old-fashioned. Call me a guy who sleeps in his underwear. I just don't think so.
Back to Monstervision host Joe Bob Briggs and Sleepstalker on TNT.
I'm really sorry to see Dana go, you know. Kathleen McMartin is the name of that actress, best-looking gal in that cast, a victim of the Sandman in the 4th reel. And now, since the movie's gotten so slow and weird and confusing with all that stuff about pentagrams and Wicca symbols and dead chickens and the weird old Spanish woman and the black preacher who sits on his throne and utters death threats till you don't know what's going on, this might be a good time to bring out the TNT Mail Girl, read a little viewer mail in the feature we call Joe Bob's Advice to the Hopeless. And to help us out, is, oh my God, we've got another new TNT mail girl. Who are you, Kathy's little sister, or better yet, Kathy's cousin from out of town is what I'm hoping.
Do I look like I'm from out of town?
Mm-hmm. Yes, as a matter of fact, you do, but I'm not saying that's a bad thing.
Well, who's Kathy?
Kathy, she's the last mail girl that was here who broke my heart by refusing to believe that I was the man of her dreams.
Well, we're not going to have that problem.
Oh, we're not? Because you think I am the man of your dreams?
I don't have to dream.
Really?
No.
Well, what do you do? Please answer in detail.
I have to deliver a letter into your sweaty palm, Mr. Briggs. And this letter is from Darlene Taylor of Alexander City, Alabama.
Great. Okay. You did that very well. You could have a future here.
Thank you very much. I hope so. You have to read the letter first, though.
Okay.
Okay.
Dear Joe Bob, my cousin Joyce and I think that you, Joe Bob, need to stop talking so much and for so long during the movie. This is the letter you bring me. Your very first time on the show.
Just deliver them.
You also need to stop talking about the movie because people want to watch it for themselves and without knowing the whole movie already. My cousin Joyce and I also would like for you to stop talking about fat women and fat people in general. Not everyone can help it if they are fat or a little overweight. How would you feel or like it if you were fat and people made fun of you for it? Frankly, Joe Bob, I don't see anything so great about you, except for your teeth. And my cousin Joyce can't either. You also need to play some Friday the 13th Jason movies, flesh-eating zombie movies, and some Nightmare on Elm Street Freddy Krueger movies, because Joyce and I love these kinds of movies. We love to make our boyfriends sick watching them as well. Thank you, Darlene Taylor and Joyce Moncrief. Well, isn't that a charming letter? I wonder if these girls are fat.
I can't believe you said that.
Well, it has a bearing on the sincerity of the letter. It's one thing if they're defending all fat people as a matter of principle. It's another thing if they're just fat. Why, do you think I talk about fat people too much?
How would I know?
All right, Darlene, Joyce, you want zombies? You want slashers? Tune in 2 weeks from tonight for the ultimate zombie movie, Wes Craven's The Serpent and the Rainbow, made in Haiti. October 11th, we've got Child's Play and Phantasm 2, same night. October 25th, we've got Wes Craven's New Nightmare, followed by Halloween 2. And Monstervision Hysteria just continues on well into the fall. And by the way, girls, I love fat people. Ella Fitzgerald, John Candy, John Belushi. I should probably come up with a living fat person, huh?
Excuse me, Mr. Briggs, is it okay if I go now?
No, absolutely not. You stay right there. What's your name?
Reno.
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 Good name. You know how to deliver that mail, Reno. Let's go back to the movie. And Reno, you stick right here. We need to interview you for this new job.
Wait a minute. They told me that I had this job.
Well, this is the special true-false portion of the examination. So,
okay.
Back to the movie.
Vision host Joe Bob Briggs and Sleepstalker on TNT.
Okay, what's going on? I totally lost it here. First of all, we don't know the rules for the Sandman. He likes air-conditioning vents and keyholes and stuff sand can go through, but how does he get from one place to another? And then how does he go from sand to human and human to sand? See, Freddy Krueger becomes human when you dream about him. But this guy just kind of does it whenever they need to kill somebody off. And why is Griffin in a straitjacket? Do you know the answers to these questions? Why am I asking you guys? You're not even watching the movie. All right, back to the flick. Maybe they'll explain it as we move on. What do I pay you guys for, though, as a matter of fact? Oh, yeah, to operate the camera. I forgot. Yeah. But whoever's talking to you on those headphones you're wearing, they should be paying attention to the movie. They should be telling you through those headphones, tell Joe Bob that the Sandman is based on an ancient Egyptian sand cult. He is the Egyptian god Osiris Akhenaten or something like, you know? Or I could just watch the movie closer, one or the other.
Back to Monstervision host Joe Bob Briggs and Sleepstalker on TNT.
They're having flashbacks this late in the movie. God dang it, I hate that. So Griffin is the brother of the Sandman, and he must, quote, sever your mortal link. Now, what does that mean? The black preacher on the throne says the guy has to sever your mortal link. Kill him, right? Is that what that means? He has to kill him. I don't know. I give up on this movie. Roll it. This is the cat and mouse part of the story. Cat and mouse. That's where the killer and the would-be killie run around in a warehouse and you don't know who can see who. And it's supposed to be real scary and it never is. I hate cat and mouse. You know who could do cat and mouse scenes? Mannix. Yeah. Remember Mannix? Yeah. Mike Connors running through those abandoned warehouses in those $1,000 suits? Yeah. Now that was some serious cat and mouse. This is horror flick cat and mouse. You know, hope the mean guy can't see me behind this big box.
Monstervision host Joe Bob Briggs and Sleepstalker on TNT.
Well, I do want to commend the TNT censors for leaving in that scene where the Sandman kills Sanchez and Sanchez's head turns to goo. That was very gross, and we do appreciate getting that full goo head effect. But correct me if I'm wrong. Did the hero of this movie just die? Did they just kill off the only guy we cared about in this movie? Maybe not. Maybe he's just wounded by the Sandman sticking his hand all the way through his stomach. But anyhow, I'd also like to commend the TNT editors for interrupting the movie right in the middle of a chase scene. This causes people to be hacked off because they're waiting to see what happens, and I'm talking and they write letters to me saying, "Shut up, Joe Bob, you ignorant yahoo." So thank you very much for that excellent customer relations move. Let's get back to the movie, okay? I have to explain everything around this place. I mean, don't these guys go to the Wharton Business School or something? They should know this. You don't put 5 minutes of commercials in the middle of a chase scene. You put 10 minutes of commercials at the end of the chase scene. They did kill him off, didn't they? They killed off the hero of the movie. They let the girl live, but they kill off the guy who's gone his whole life running away from the Sandman character. And now when they finally kill the Sandman, they also kill the guy. Come on, doesn't this violate some horror movie rule or something? You can't do that. Griffin was the main character. Megan was the girlfriend. That bothered me when he died. Sleepstalker, okay. All right, well, Philadelphia Experiment 2 is coming up in just a minute here, but I want to remind you that next week we've got Alien 3. The insect from outer space is still out there, and he's still chomping heads on a prison planet. And we follow that up with the cult classic Barbarella. Jane Fonda as a wacky space traveler in very little clothing. What? You see, this is why I think they're out to get me here. They put this movie on my show. They know Jane doesn't like this movie, all right? They think, ha, 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 let's see Joe Bob get out of this one. They know I'm going to screw up. They know I'm going to say just one little wrong thing. Ted's going to be watching that night. Words are exchanged between Ted and Jane out at the Montana Buffalo Ranch or somewhere. Pretty soon I'm working at MSNBC interviewing animal rights advocates. You know, they set me up for this stuff. All right, well, we'll worry about that next week. But right now, let's get started on Philadelphia Experiment 2. And it's one of those time travel flicks where Brad Johnson has to travel back to 1943, which is where he started out in the first movie where the airplane disappeared, and he ended up in 1984, and now he's lived 9 years in the present time, and it's 1993. And he thinks that maybe when he came through the time and space vortex the first time, he accidentally let the Nazis grab a stealth bomber. So maybe in 1943 they used that stealth bomber to annihilate Washington, D.C., and if they did that, then America as we know it doesn't exist. Only if that's true, then how is it possible for Brad Johnson to be living in this little suburban California community where his son plays Little League? And then these evil military types start playing around with time travel and zapping Brad's DNA so that he has these bad headaches. And before you know it, he ends up in a different 1993, the one that happened after Washington got bombed. But we don't know that yet. And you see why I can't stand talking about these movies? Do you see? They give you a headache. See, and anyhow, it starts off kind of slow, but it builds up to some great scenes at the end. So let's just look at the drive-in total. Let's get it over with. 24 dead bodies, 3 raging gun battles, 1 exploding house with fireball, 1 exploding military aircraft with fireball, 2 bullets to the forehead, throat slitting, and I'm going to give it about 2.5 stars, so check it out. And then we'll be back with, we're going to have Jailbreak tonight. The mail girl will be out here again, some other cool stuff. And I just kind of gave up on that one. I had that plot going. I had it in my head. I knew where it was going. I just gave it. You see, it's this whole Barbarella stress factor. The idea that next week's second feature is just lying in wait there for me, ready to blow up in my face at any moment. Sometimes this job is like Nam, you know, just landmines everywhere. And there I go. I say Jane Fonda and Nam. Jane, that last remark had nothing to do with you, okay? Unrelated subject.